and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Fried. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? What's the haps? How was your weekend?
I'm great. I feel like I'm in Saved by the Bell with your shirt.
Yeah, you like it?
Doesn't
This
it feel
is
very
a
Saved by the
bright-
Bell?
Yeah, it's very.
Ish.
You wake up in the morning on time.
Exactly. I don't know the lyrics either, but very high energy intro.
Right.
Yes.
Saved by the Bell never gets any of the blame for making kids feel bad about their bodies. How the fuck is AC Slater considered a high school kid? This guy,
Mario Lopez.
yeah, he was just coming in with stringer tanks and abs,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there at 13 being like, wait a minute, I don't look like that guy. What the fuck?
You were into him? That wasn't my.
I wasn't into him. I mean,
that was a.
No, it's just like the
sort of a
the
Zach
bodies
Morris,
didn't make
yeah.
sense.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Just the way they lived in high school, I was like, oh, I guess this is high school. And then you're like, wait, we don't get to hang out in the hallway for 30 minutes?
Right.
Where are the nerds? It wasn't as obvious. They weren't
weren't
on that
included.
show.
Yeah.
I like Saved by the Bell, though.
I feel like it's a little bit before my time.
Beldo?
It's a little, like I know it.
Oh, so maybe that's where we divide.
I think so. I think I've seen episodes, but it wasn't like the craze that it was. I feel like
there was the Miss Bliss era, and then there was the Zach Morris era. That was one of those shows where you could tell like that people liked certain things about it,
Okay.
and they made changes on the fly. Like Miss Bliss was really the central character of the show. If anyone, I am old man Jared. Candace, you know Miss Bliss? Yeah, so the Miss Bliss era was like the beginning, and it was really about the teachers in this high school, and then the kids were really the stars. So then it became about Zach Morris and Screech and their hijinks, with Belding,
Right.
So I know, and then there was the Max that was like a bigger player. The guy was a magician.
I don't remember any of these characters.
Oh
I
my
wasn't as
God.
much of a devoted.
I
fan
probably watched every episode of Saved by the Bell.
Wow.
Yeah, I've probably seen them all. But I don't have a
Huge
memory
Saved by
of
the
any
Bell fan.
I don't have a memory of specifics. Well, mostly AC Slater's body. But
That's all you were watching
that's
for
all I was
again.
watching.
Yeah.
I just remember it was a Saturday morning like nighttime show because like Saturday mornings were all cartoons, and then there was like
What years did that show
sitcom.
run?
Saved by the Bell,
the original.
not the college years. Get out of here.
Yeah, no one wants to hear anything about that.
Screech is a principal.
They tried to do that with Boy Meets World too.
Yeah, Boy Meets World got a lot more juice out of it than Saved by the Bell.
Boy
did.
Meets World, I think, was more my time.
Okay, the Boy Meets World college years were great.
That's right. Boy Meets World nailed it. Where
It's weird they had Mr. Feeney
Saved by
come
the
with
Bell.
them.
What's that?
He
Mr.
came with
Feeney?
them to college.
It was convenient that he was next door, so they could really grow up, and Feeney would be there. Then Feeney had this thing with Eric, where they were like buddies. I don't know. There was a lot of different arcs on that show.
Yeah, but it was worth it the whole time. Angela and Jack were the best ones at the end. Anyway,
Angela
back to
and
Saved by the Bell.
who? I remember Angela.
Jack is Sean's half brother. I love Boy Meets World.
Oh,
Sean's
I remember.
half-brother.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, and he was what's he part of? What family was Jack part of? The Lawrence. He was one of the Lawrence brothers.
Lawrence brothers. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Joey had his show. And
Brotherly
then,
Love.
Brotherly Love
Brotherly
was
Love,
a
I did
show,
not
right?
The Lawrence brothers really they were a moment. I feel like they're
Brotherly
iconic.
Love, all three of them, they all got paid. That was all three of the Lawrence brothers.
Brothers were very big
People
in like
loved-
the 2000s. The Hanson
Siblings.
Hanson, yeah.
The twins.
The
on
Wayans brothers.
The Wayans brothers, but also the
are you gonna say
Mary
Mary
Kate
Kate
and
and Ashley
Ashley?
or T
Yeah.
and Tamara?
Tia and Tamara,
Tamara.
right?
There were two
Jonas
sets of
Brothers?
twins. We can't forget them. Jonas Brothers.
Who else?
Who-
Nickelodeon had the Brothers Garcia, but that was very
That's
short-lived.
after me. I'm.
This was 2002. I had it on my video.
Don't
now.
ruin our conversation with
I'm
young
sorry.
people shit.
Get out of here.
Brothers Garcia, don't know it. Don't need to know
I'm
it.
still a millennial.
Yeah, that was Gen
Anyway.
Z talk right there. I don't know.
I don't think Gen Z knows that show exists because I had it on the video now, which was pre-iPod. It was how you could watch shows, and you had a CD-ROM. Anyway,
CD-ROM.
CD-ROM. Thank you. Well, Candace, we lost you. Now you're back.
Yeah.
You came back with
CD-ROM.
CD-ROM. Yeah, thank you. for making
anyway,
us feel
Saved by the Bell
comfy, cozy
premiered
again.
in 1989, and then
1989 to what?
college years hit in 1993.
So 1989
yeah.
to 19. So 19.
I was too young for this.
You're
I
too
think.
young.
Yeah.
I am probably. 1989 is too young for me. I'm 4 years old.
I'm missing
Right.
something.
Go ahead.
Actually, the first show was Good Morning Miss Bliss.
Right. See?
Premiered
Miss
in
Bliss.
1987, and then it switched to being called Saved by the Bell in 1993, and that was the shift.
There it is.
Okay.
Now we're making sense. Because 1993 would make sense that I would know about it 7 years old,
And when did Boy Meets
8
World
years
come out?
old.
We really got away from
And
dating.
that, and, well, Boy Meets World had to have been like 1998.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
And that was a TGIF show.
1998.
Yes.
What was it?
What year was it?
September 24th, 1993 for Boy Meets
What?
World.
93?
Do you remember they were like 11 in the first?
Right.
Topanga
He was
wasn't even a
young.
character in the original
No, she
Boy
was
Meets
in the
World.
original.
She was a guest star, and she's not
Look
at
at
the
how
very
defensive
beginning.
I got of Topanga. I was in love.
Leave Topanga alone.
She
Nope.
was in the original.
Nobody else is from Mesa, Arizona. This is our one rising star for my hometown.
Oh, she was.
So
That was her story.
Topanga, okay, we're really gonna go back here. Like Urkel in Family Matters, Topanga was a guest star. She was just a guest character, and she took all the attention with her weird
Right. She was
lipstick
the
on the
weirdo
face.
that came from the Southwest with all her like hippy
And got a lot of
dippy-
because they had like live studio audiences, so she got so much attention that they brought her back and made her
As
a
the main
consistent
love
character.
That was the Urkel thing is the most famous version of it because Urkel became so much bigger than Family Matters that like it became his show. Like he was just
Right.
supposed to be a walk on. You're
Yeah.
right. That was like the most. You
know
know,
what
when a show
show
just changed directions.
I really loved, what was the show
Is Miss Bliss alive? Can we look that up?
with Fred Savage?
Fred, well, no,
What
it was
the
Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years.
Wonder
Yes.
Years, and then this is the younger Savage.
Right, was Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. And also the
Ben
movie where the
Savage.
dad, the princess, Princess Bride.
Yes.
That's
It's also in that.
Well, that's like Fred Savage is like the young boy in that, right? Or is it?
Or is it Ben Savage?
No, that's Ben Savage. Yeah,
Savage,
yeah. Ben. They look so
I like
much
the Wonder
alike.
Years a lot.
We don't talk about Fred Savage anymore. There's a reason he was not part of the Wonder Years revival in full.
Right.
Really?
What happened? What did he do?
He was it was actually funny because he was on Boy Meets World as somebody that inappropriately touched Topanga and then lied about it.
I
just
remember
for
this.
this
And
to
that's
all
actually what he was
become
doing?
real life. Yeah, he was inappropriate with the cast and with production. So
At
in
what-
the
what
revival on the Wonder Years
On the
and
Wonder
after
Years.
after in other things, but for the Wonder Years revival, they didn't have him as part of the cast. They made him part of production, and then he just did it again.
Oh, so he was a dick on production. Well, it's weird that he was like 8, walk around with being like, "What up, toots?" Like, was he like?
Yeah, he was
on
pretty
the
young.
Wonder
right?
Years? I don't see. It's
I don't
pretty
know
young to
how-
be.
It must be weird though to be
inappropriate.
8 years old in the show. Like you're the main character of the show, so you're 8 years old, and sort of
Right.
everyone there kind of works for you because you're the star of the show.
Child star, the mind fucking that goes on with a
I'm
child.
sure
Like,
it's like the whole show is. You have this entire cast and crew, and like you're the star of
right,
the show.
not to bring up the name that should not be mentioned, Fred Savage, but I mean, this guy was one of the biggest celebrities in the country at one point. Like,
Yeah, and he's
this
like 9.
isn't like TikTok, like this is like 3 stations.
Right.
Everyone knows who he is.
Yeah.
And he is the CEO of that show. Like
At 8.
at
right?
8,
Yeah.
right?
So I'm saying it must be a weird dynamic.
Right, you
going
have
on.
you have like a director being like, "Is there anything you need, Mr. Savage?" And you're like 7 years old. Yeah, so I can, not to apologize for it, but the idea that this guy would be
Would not
messed
mess
up
you
in
up
the
a little
head
bit, yeah.
enough to be like, whatever Fred Savage wants, Fred Savage gets. And the problem is he doesn't look like the type that should.
Right. But then the issue is like he hasn't really done much since then. So
What does he got to do?
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
how much
That
money can
but
someone
I'm
need?
saying that further probably fucks you up as you get older. If like you're this child star, you're the CEO of like the most popular show on TV,
Right.
and then a few years later, it's like
You're
you
nothing.
get a little less cute.
right.
growing up.
I mean, what are we talking about today? Oh, and I'm on the road. People are offering golf like crazy. I'm
People are offering golf. Like here, take some golf. Does anyone want golf?
I'm playing with someone's dad
What is
in
this, Beach
Milwaukee.
from Barbie? The Barbie movie? Where do you work? Beach?
I'm on the road. August, Atlantic City, Newark, and I'm going to
Hitting
be
Jersey. Dirty
all
Jersey.
over Jersey, Sacramento, Sacktown, Cleveland, and then I got a bunch more dates. JaredFree.com, JaredFree.com.
You had a great comment that you wanted to
I did want
address
to. I got
on YouTube.
I just want to read this one because it was such a good comment. You know when you read a comment and you're like, we
This
give
is
so
the
much
best of the
attention.
internet.
Well, we give so much attention to people who say negative stuff, but I just want to say this is such a good comment that wasn't agreeing with us on the episode called "The Urge to Win the Breakup." It's on YouTube. J&J loved the discussion about fetishes and wanted to offer a different perspective from someone with a fetish, spanking, and who was active in a fetish community. Because we talked about that guy who was, the woman found out he was in a nail fetish
saw his
community.
Reddit, and then he was posting commentary on the Reddit page.
Right. They write, first, I think there is an important distinction between a kink and a fetish. Although the two often get used interchangeably, even by fetishists, in short, kinks are usually wants and desires that fall outside of normal sexual activity, but aren't a necessity for one to feel fulfilled sexually. But fetishes are often required for one to feel sexually fulfilled and are often central to a person's sexuality. That distinguish... I never heard that before.
I hadn't heard that before either. I think that makes a lot of sense. Just as an example, I'm more of an learn by example person. So it's like, if you like to be spanked, but it's like you're fine without it, but it's something you do enjoy. That's a kink.
That's a kink.
If you can't get off without being spanked, that is a fetish.
I think you're right.
Okay.
That's the way I understand it.
As this example.
But
yes.
but fetishes are often often required one to feel sexually fulfilled and are often central to a person's sexuality. Some fetishes, such as the author Gillian Keenan, even argue that some fetishes, like spanking, are a type of sexual orientation due to their nature of being innate, unchanging, and unchosen. I can't speak for all the people with a fetish, but I know for myself that I recognized from an early age, around 5 or 6, that I was interested in spanking. I've heard many other spankos.
5 or 6? Spankos.
I love the name spanking fetishes, and even people with different fetishes, tickling rope diapers, similarly say their interest started from an early age. On Jared's question about if women have fetishes, the answer is obviously yes. I'm sure there might be different gender ratios across different fetish groups. I think it seems like only men have fetishes because men tend to be the loudest. I would agree with that. I also know from my own community, women can be hesitant to advertise their fetish out of fear of getting swamped with unwanted male attention, both within the spanking community and outside of it. I understand that. Yeah. Most men also tend to consume fetish porn more, while most women with a fetish, I've noticed, tend to consume it through reading, writing erotica, and fan fiction. On the community,
more active imaginations.
There it is. On the community aspect, I understand a vanilla person being taken aback by the idea of a community or based around a sexual subject or activity. But I found immense value in meeting other people who can relate to this. Part of my identity. Having a fetish can be lonely and isolating. I feel like every person with a fetish person has struggled with insecurity, shame, and lack of belonging. I don't think I've met anyone who isn't self-aware enough to recognize that what they're into is a little weird. Having a community, whether online or offline, can bring a sense of belonging and normalcy that many crave. Additionally, it can also function as a form of safety, especially for women, to identify predators and problematic people. I'm not sure the emailer's boyfriend's Reddit group necessarily serves all these functions, but I'd wager he definitely feels some self-guilt and hesitation to bring it up to the emailer, perhaps justifiably so based on her reaction, and probably finds some sense of belonging to post to the Reddit as the only outlet for his fetish. Sorry for the novel, just felt inspired to share.
I think this is a very interesting comment. I learned a lot from it.
So much.
Right. It's interesting where she talks about, or he or she talks about the author saying that it's kind of a sexuality.
Right.
In which case, it's almost like by looking up their Reddit page and reading about that thing, they're almost like outing them against their will.
Right,
Do you know what I mean?
right.
If you think of it that way.
Right. I everything they said has been heard. You know, like by me, I'm saying, like I don't think this is a lot of new information, but also I just want to comment on their perspective. They comment. They disagreed without vilifying us for not knowing enough, or you got to learn, you better read up. That's kind of how some people come into these things. What I also like about it is like this idea of like they were writing like anyone with something going on knows it's a little different, a little weird, and that's something that gets kind of shouted down for this.
Right.
It's like, you know, when we want to normalize everything, it's like, well, if everything's normal,
That's a good point.
You know, like then
It's
we
what I'm
can't talk
saying.
about it and get interested in it and figure it out. You know, like
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Again, that's why it's such a unique comment for the internet because
Right.
it's hard to be like, it's okay. I think it's okay to like accept everything while still, like this person said, saying it's a little weird. That makes everyone feel a little more comfortable.
Right,
Makes
if
everyone
some-
feel a little more relaxed.
absolutely
Calling it an elephant in the room a little bit.
Right, and
It's not like, of course, everyone should be spanking. I mean, if you don't do it, you're like a.
well, the idea of kink
Prude, yeah.
shaming, like I don't think I think that even that phrase is too strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes people are just don't know. If a woman said to me, "I want you to grow out your nails because I'm into a man with long nails," I'd have to think about my life with that.
Right.
You know, like I don't like my nails long. You know,
But
like
if even if they prefaced with, I think it's it's a little weird or it's a little different thing
Right.
I have.
well, then I'm talking with them. We're
Right, yes.
negotiating, and that's relationships are negotiation.
Yeah.
So, and that gets lost on the internet with this idea of like, take me as I am, and it's like no one's saying we don't want to take. You know, you shouldn't be nice to people, but this is. I think this like absolutely rounds out the conversation we were having about the email.
Totally.
And it shows the power of a comment. Like I do read these things, and you know it is
And
nice
it's
to
very
be
interesting.
informed.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure
I'm
we
really
acknowledge
intrigued
that.
by that idea that it's like a form of a sexuality.
Unchosen. That was a good way to
Yes.
put it. Like when something you're into is you didn't want, you know, this
Right.
idea that you were like searching out
Yes.
kinks just to be kinky.
And it is nice that there are communities then, if that's something, again, that you're into, that you feel a little bit embarrassed about, that there's a place where you can be yourself.
Their point is so true. I agree with that. The point of like, hey, this is an outlet to like go, oh, I'm not some crazy person.
Right. And also someone else could say it's not for me.
Right.
It's also okay.
What are we
All right,
talking about
Let's
today?
get into it. Okay.
Let's jump right in.
I'll jump right in. I'll read the email. Hi, J&J. I've been listening for a little while now and appreciate your fun and helpful convos. I have a conundrum that could use some outside help.
Love a canon.
I started playing volleyball in leagues around my area a few years ago and have made some great friends from it and also lots of friendly acquaintances, familiar faces that are often around, and we know some of the same people, but we don't really know each other. One of these familiar faces is a guy that I ended up playing with a few times. We got along easily and started becoming actual friends. He's the type of person who's super friendly and outgoing, has lots of platonic relationships with men and women. He's straight and single, by the way, and just seems to know everyone. For a long time, I was seeing his friendliness as just that, not as flirtiness. But lately, it's gotten more confusing. I've thought about it a lot, and although we click really well in some ways, I'm just not interested in anything other than being friends with him. Now that we've been friends for a little while, I'm not so sure about his intentions. We text and chat pretty consistently about low-key stuff like volleyball and music, and he started to ask me to hang out more often, like going for dog walks, randomly meeting for a drink, and making dinner together. To me, this is the most suspicious suggestion. Making dinner together is...
Yeah.
I would make dinner with my, like, platonic female friend.
Sounds like he wants
Yeah.
time with you.
Yeah. Intimate time.
Intimate time, right.
Are we just becoming better friends, or is he getting flirty? Asking me to hang out one-on-one shouldn't imply that he's flirting, right? Can I not have straight guy friends that I hang out with one-on-one? Am I being naive and thinking that he still just wants to be friends, or am I being arrogant and thinking that he might want more? I enjoy hanging out with him, but I don't want to lead him on. I also want clarity, but I don't want to make things unnecessarily awkward. What should I do? Sincerely, an avoidant Betch.
I love this because it made me think of like the listenership of this podcast and the way it's changed over the years. To me, this rings young to me. And it also rings of 2024
Right.
because what we're seeing is this want to meet IRL, as we talked about years ago. IRL summer. Let's go out and meet people. And I would like to give ourselves credit that we're ahead of that. We could feel the temperature in the room, and now we're seeing it happen now.
Right.
Now, run clubs, this person's playing volleyball, all these things are being created. Mocktails are in. All the, like, you know,
Cooking dinner together.
cooking dinner. But I'm saying all these opportunities to hang out IRL that tries to get alcohol out of the picture
Yeah.
are starting to pop up.
Right.
And then what we're also seeing, and what this person is speaking to, is how do I have my IRL stuff while also having the benefits of a dating app so I don't feel any awkwardness at all.
Okay.
And I'm telling this person, not gonna happen.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is like this guy is, to me, if she gave me all this based on the email, to me he's attracted to her and is trying to date her.
I agree with that.
I don't know if I'm right, but she's gonna find out.
How is she going to find out?
He's gonna keep asking
Right.
and keep being nice and say, hey, why don't we cook dinner? And hey, do you want to do drinks? And she's gonna have to say no, 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 or she's gonna say yes to it because she likes him as a person, and it's gonna come up.
Right. I agree. Eventually it's going to come up.
It's going to come
and
up.
I agree that it's an age thing because I look back on myself in my like early 20s and I had guy friends like this where we were friends seemingly and they'd want to hang out and we'd hang out as friends and it was platonic. But then there would be like, if you hang out enough with someone platonically who's of your same sexual orientation and like you start doing more stuff, there becomes a point where there's a little, you can sense, you can read like you said, read the temperature in the room.
Right.
You can get a sense of like if there's an underlying tension, even if it's one-sided.
Also, the conversation topics in your 20s, one of them is, are you single and who are you seeing?
Right.
That's one of the topics. Like, it's
Yes.
just not, how are the kids? How's your wife? How's your husband? Nope, can't do any of those.
Well, here's
What'd
my-
you do last weekend? I went on a date.
Here's
That's
my
you talking about
right.
that.
Well, here's my question. Like, is it better if you're the guy in this scenario? And I don't know if you've ever been the guy trying to like woo someone under the guise of a platonic male friendship.
Sure.
Have you?
I've definitely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you have. Okay.
I've been friend zoned many a time.
I
I know cocky Jared from earlier doesn't really match
doesn't
up.
remember those days. How humbling.
I'm not cocky, or maybe I am. I don't know.
It's okay. It's all right. Confidence.
Do you
but-
know who I am?
Well, no, I think that there becomes a point in that situation where the person either tries to make a move
Right.
or, like you said, that conversation comes up. And then if the other person kind of has to either you kind of have to back away.
It's two ways to go
Yeah.
about it from the guy trying to like.
She doesn't really
weasel
have to do anything until he tries something.
Well, she has to say no to him. Yeah, right. Until he brings it up, and he either gets he either gets it or he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's saying to us like, "What's the least awkward way out of this?" And it's like I can't really tell her that. Like she can say to him like, and I don't think it would be arrogant to say, "Hey, I know you wanted to make dinner tonight, but I have to let you know before anything else that this is a platonic relationship to me." That's stronger than I would
right.
be.
I
You
don't
know
know
what
if
I'm
I could ever do that.
But on the
Like,
right,
yeah,
on the
right.
options, on the spectrum of options, you can say, "Hey, I just want to make sure you know before we like make dinner tonight. If you saw this as like a romantic thing, I'm not there, and this isn't romantic for me. Good for you if you can do that. If
Right.
not, and you just say, "Hey, I can't do dinner tonight, but good luck." You could even go, "I have a date," and he gets
Right.
the picture.
Yeah.
Or
He hears you have a date, and I mean, I do think men, especially in this phase, even if they hear you have a date, it's like you just haven't gone out with
Right,
them
well-
yet, or
well,
they
it's-
can build on. I think
I
there's
guess
this
someone's
idea
dating.
of like, you know how many women are like, I didn't even like him, and then we were
Right.
friends, and then
No,
like one day I
yeah,
turned around
right.
and it was him the whole time because I couldn't. Find,
That's
'cause I
kind of what
was-
he's doing.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of guys do that, but then eventually, I do think if you don't hook up with them after enough of these platonic hangs, a guy will eventually move on.
Right. But I think
That's why I'm not friends with any of those people that I
right.
was
Big dog gotta eat.
talking about. Yeah.
Right. And this is the thing, but why I mentioned the dating app part of it, it's like she's doing what people wish they could do. She's at the volleyball hang. She's got a guy that wants to get dinner with her that she thinks is a great guy.
Right.
And
she
she's
doesn't
just
wanna
not
date.
there. She doesn't
Yeah.
want to date him. And she's kind of asking us, how do I swipe left on him?
Right. Well, this is almost like the opposite situation of those like situationship things where the guy is in control and they're
Mhm.
sleeping together and the woman wants something else. In this situation, it's like the woman's getting exactly what she wants.
Right.
Um,
I gotta
And then unless he says what he wants, like she could just keep going with this great platonic guy friend that she gets emotional support from, and that you know, and the guy has like, it's like in both situations the answer is to be clear with what you want, and if you're not, the other person doesn't really owe you anything.
Right, and you have to kind of like, what's your tolerance for it? You know, like
Right.
on her side, like in the same way, what's his tolerance for sleeping with someone that he knows wants more?
Right.
What's your tolerance for hanging out with someone that
You know
is
kinda
starting
wants to
to
fuck you.
Right. So it's like, and I don't think we have the answer to that.
I think
but-
eventually it gets uncomfortable enough for both of those people
Right.
that it's something comes to a head or it fizzles away when the other person is sort of getting the idea that it's never really
right.
going to happen.
Awkward is coming, miss. Sorry.
Right.
Be prepared. You know, and you can get in front of it in the way that we said that we're not strong enough to do, or you can wait for it to happen, but it's coming. Like, so I was talking to someone, this email made me think about the reason I like kind of talked about the dating apps in real life. Like, so these run clubs are like becoming huge.
Really?
So all around
I
New
don't
York,
run.
I don't
I
run,
never
and
run.
I made a video where I was like, I would die before I joined a run club, and to me, I get it. I'm making fun
I
of
get it. I feel exactly the same way as you. I think I hate it because I could never do it. It's not in my capability thing, so I must hate on it.
Right.
It's like people who run the marathon. I'm like, what a fucking loser. But it's like just because I don't have the stamina or
Right.
like the willpower to ever do anything like that, so
Right.
I have to make fun of it. It's
Of
all totally
course.
about us. Yeah.
It's every joke that we make is about us. I mean, like
Right.
the idea that I'm going to go to run club, the angles wouldn't work for me. Me running one, then having to make conversation from this angle while I shake up and down.
Wait, what are you doing?
That's how I run. No, that you
Look like
imagine
you're having a seizure.
we're next to each other. This is a run club date. This is meeting. So what do you do? This is our socials. This is the clip. Hey.
Jared having a minor seizure. On
Is
the
this
show.
hot? This
Yeah, that's more like it.
This
That's
is
more
not
like it.
hot
Yes.
for me. I don't want to be. I want sitting, drink, cool guy Jared.
Right.
This
So
is
stationary body.
this is a date. I don't want to be jiggling.
Okay, fair.
I'm
I
just
don't run.
saying,
Listen, I don't run either. I get it.
hey, and then I'm out of breath.
Okay, so you're anti-run club, but you're saying they're.
But I get why people are doing them.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend did one, and he said, if you join their Instagram, I'm out of breath now. A lot of people will go to the run club and then hang with their friends, and then after send pictures they've taken of the guy or girl they like to the Instagram account to be like, hey, can you find this person for me? I want to go on a date with them.
Interesting.
So they're taking an in real life moment where you get to go and, hey, Jordana, my name's Jared. Nice to meet you. What made you join the club? That's like an opening that would be totally normal and awesome,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And they're going, no. I want to go and so I want to opt for a dating app.
Right.
They're turning the run club into a dating app.
I love it.
I just think it's like what a way to like
You don't like it.
I understand it, but it's again you're opting for the crutch and the thing you don't want because you could go up to someone and get the vibe. You're having date one on the run club. That's the
there's
whole
not the
point.
people. Oh, I thought it's almost like a misconnections. Like we spoke on the run. I never got
That
your
might
number.
be the case. That might be the
If
case.
that was it, I'd be like,
I agree with
great.
it. That
Like,
that's fine. But I heard a different version where it's like they just saw someone.
oh yeah, I don't like that as much. Although I guess it's like they have a similar like hobby as you.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, in the world where you're like, I want to be out in public, I want to meet people, I want to get through this first
Right, just
date
go up to them in person.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, even in that sense, you're like, oh, I gotta find a way to not get turned down. I'm gonna be false bold.
Okay.
To me, it's false bold. If you never talk to someone in the run club, then you send them a picture, and then they post the picture. Hey, if this is you, we got a girl for you. And then you go, hey, who is it? You know, to
Right.
the person. Now you're in a dating app again.
Yeah. No,
I
that's
don't
true.
know.
Go,
I-
people should go approach people in person. But this guy did that. Approached her in
This
person.
guy is a good guy.
Yes.
He's being a little slithery with the friend thing.
Well,
but
how would you want someone if you said you've been in this position, right? You've been the guy who's been kind of friend zone, who's trying to hang out. Well, how would you want to be told that
If
the
I s-
person wasn't interested?
if I said, hey, let's get drinks, I think that's me asking them on a date.
right.
And if they said, oh, I can't do drinks tonight, and I was like, how about next week? Then
You would take the hint.
I would probably take the hint. If they were like, I'll see. I'd be like, balls in their court. I'm going to fade into the mist.
Right.
Um,
You wouldn't try to maintain the friendship for years in hopes that one day they turn around and say you're the one, the male
well,
rom-com, if you
know
will.
what I would do? What the real thing you do as the guy is we'll come back around at the next volleyball game. That's when I'll get my FaceTime.
Okay.
And then see how that vibe
Play
is
cool.
again. Play it cool. I'd come back to volleyball. We'd get in person. If I got like another signal that I thought I was getting before, hey, what about those drinks?
Right. She's
So back around the horn, yeah.
Right.
Because then I would wait until we had a natural volleyball moment.
Well, here's my question. Because I think as a woman, the idea that someone would go out with you kind of reluctantly is mortifying. As a man, would you care if someone agreed to go out with you if they were like on the fence?
Well, this is the problem with me doing this podcast, that I've realized that every woman is going on a date on the fence. There's very few that are like, I can't wait. I've been rubbing one out to him for years.
Right.
It's all like, I guess
happens
I'll
on the
go.
third date.
Right. Right. That's a third date thing.
Right.
But I would say that not a lot of men believe that anyone's on the fence with going out with them. I think
So they don't care.
in the same way
Right,
that people are, everyone's a star of their own movie. Men are the star of their own movie too.
Mm-hmm.
If a woman's on a date with you, they're on a date with you for the same reason you're on a date with them. They want to fuck me.
Right.
And I guess I'm generalizing a lot. I do think there is doubt, believe me, but like, and you want to win the girl, and maybe there'll be a kiss. I do think it's not of course like I'm putting it, but like I don't think the idea of like, I guess I'll go, like is how they're thinking of it. That's not how
Right.
I would think of it.
Yeah. Ugh, to be 22 and dating again.
To be on the volleyball courts.
Yeah. That's
Oh, I remember
what
the
a fun,
days.
hopeful, exciting time.
It's great. I remember when I was on the volleyball courts.
Were you ever on the
Just me,
volleyball
shirt
court?
off, abs.
I was on the volleyball team my freshman
You
year
were?
of high school. Yeah. There were no cuts. We were so bad. We
Oh my
lost
God.
every single game.
I just imagine every high school sports team on Long Island just being very
Horrible.
bad at
Yeah.
whatever they did.
It was all Jews. They're just
Yeah.
terrible at sports. Just not good.
Good
Tennis.
debate teams.
We were decent at tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
From what I remember.
Let's do some awkward stuff. All right, let's do some awkward.
Let's do it.
Awkward encounters.
Do you want to
ready?
read it?
Yes. I have an awkward encounter to share that happened a couple of years ago that still remains one of the funniest yet most embarrassing stories in my life. I live alone and I have a box of secret goodies that I keep under my bed.
Ooh.
Ooh. It has lube, condoms, some toys, cigarettes, and a few edibles for safekeeping. I like that cigarettes gets involved. Good for cigarette.
I've had that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like emergency one.
An emergency box of cigarettes and condoms and such.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Just-
Don't kink shame.
No,
Just kidding.
I'm pro goodies box.
I know you're pro cigarettes.
Yeah. For some context, when I was a freshman in college, I used to date a guy who smoked a bowl 5 to 6 times a day and got me hooked for a while. It was a big source of contention between my parents and me, and since I got out of that situation almost 10 years ago, I've smoked weed maybe 3 times total. I do, however, enjoy an edible here and there if I'm having trouble sleeping. A couple of years ago, my mom was visiting me. She arrived while I was at work, and so I left a key for her to get inside my place. When I returned home from work, she surprised me by telling me she did a deep clean of my apartment for me.
Surprise.
Hey, touched all your stuff.
Deep clean.
This is, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm with this woman. My mom wouldn't say surprised I did a deep clean. She would have just done it.
My mom would have just looked through all my shit and not cleaned anything.
Right.
I opened all your mail and looks like it's pretty clean in there.
You're not paying the electric. Yeah, there would have been no context to why. My mom wouldn't have been like, I deep clean. It would just be done plus questions about how I live.
Right. Yeah.
When I returned home from work, she surprised me by telling me she did a deep cleaning of my apartment for me. I was elated, but then became confused when I noticed she looked upset. She asked to sit down at the table with me and began to tell me that she knew I was smoking weed again. She told me she'd found my bong while cleaning and that she was disappointed and worried. Confused, I told her I didn't own a bong and never have. She then pulled out her purse, started digging around in it, pulled out my bong, and placed it on the dinner table in front of me as proof. It was not, in fact, a bong. It was my stainless steel rainbow-colored butt plug with a gemstone crystal at the end of it that I had recently used with a guy I was seeing at the time.
I love this.
I was speechless for a few seconds, but managed to pull it together enough to begin profusely apologizing for lying about owning a bong and also about my newly revamped smoking habit. I grabbed the toy from her, threw it in the trash, and told her I'd talk to my therapist about it. We never spoke about it ever again, and I genuinely don't think she's ever realized what it was. Thanks for all you do. I love you both. Signed, Which End Do I Light It Up?
Wow. This mom, what a nosy bitch.
Right?
No?
No, totally.
I'd be like, Mom, why are you going through all my shit? Fuck off.
also, yeah, this
You're
is
smoking weed again? What?
it's an adult.
Yeah.
Like, I understand.
I know you're smoking weed again. It's legal. What's going on?
If you're gonna, I wish she had done. Well, if you're gonna smoke weed, why don't you smoke the whole thing? And then
Put the butt plug
right in her face, and then she had to
Unwashed.
suck on the gem.
Ugh.
She's sucking on her own asshole.
Oh my, ew. That's another layer. This is gross.
I wish she had made her smoke from it. How would you smoke from it? I think what would you do in this
I would have done what
situation?
she did, but I would have yelled at my mom for like looking through my shit.
How bad of a weed problem did their parents think she had?
I think she smoked like one time 3 years ago. Then she got.
she
what did
said
she
she
say?
was with a guy who was smoking 3 to 5 times a day.
He
or
was
something.
smoking. Okay.
So then she got into it with her parents. I do understand like the remnants of this argument where it's like you're smoking too much, and then you're like, I'm off it, and they're like, oh, look at what a great person you are now. And then they find what they think is a bong,
Right.
and they're like, I thought
She's
it's
back on the sauce
back
again.
on, right.
Yeah.
When really she's just back on the uncomfortable chair from the butt plug being in her asshole.
Right. Oh my God. The deep clean.
That's annoying.
That's-
As a parent, I think there's an age where your responsibility, unless it's fucking heroin needles,
Right.
is your responsibility is to take the goodie bag, put it back under the
right.
bed,
Pretend you didn't see it.
and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm annoyed at the mom now.
It's like looking through someone's diary. Like to me, it's like, why are you looking through their shit? There's
And
a
then-
box with
right.
stuff. Just like put it away.
And also, it has condoms and other things
Right.
and lube. Like, this wasn't just a weed box. It wasn't like, Jimi Hendrix doll in there with a
Total invasion of privacy.
right. Like, yeah.
And then just imagine her sitting her down. I found your weed. I found
Bong.
yours." Right, the bong.
If you're gonna smoke the whole thing.
I guess she didn't care about the condoms or the lube or whatever. She got with cigarettes.
Well, in that case, maybe it would have been smart of her to have been like, "That's not a bong," and then the mom goes, "What? That's my butt plug." I think it would have shooken her enough. She never
Never
would have
would've
made
looked,
that
yeah.
mistake ever
it would
again.
be too mortifying. I wouldn't do that. I'd rather
I would do
I'd
that.
rather her think it was.
I would rather the butt plug. I guess it's a good would you rather. Would
Yeah.
you rather your mom
Find your butt plug or weed.
or weed?
Bong?
Right. I'd be
No.
like, it's not.
Have
no.
your parents smoked pot before?
Mine?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they have.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right, but I guess to me in her scenario, the weed offers a bigger problem for the parents.
right.
Like to me, my problem is my mom isn't respecting my privacy,
Privacy,
so she
yeah.
needs to be shaken a little bit.
Right.
So how do you shake her? No, that's not a bong. That's been in my asshole.
Hope you enjoyed it, taking it out.
Right.
Yeah. Here's-
And I didn't clean it.
maybe you could have deep cleaned this for me.
Right. Not just in my ass, but his ass too.
Great. Moral of the story: don't open the box.
Right. Wow. Don't talk about opening the box.
Yeah, that's true. If you're gonna open it, pretend you didn't
I mean,
see it
if
like a
I'm in
normal
your
person.
house, I'm in all the medicine cabinets.
In my house,
Every bathroom, all 17 of them.
what are you looking for?
Just want to see what's up.
Do you do that in people's?
I've looked through people's stuff. Have you?
really? In
You
like
never
their
looked through
medicine cabinets?
You never looked through like the mirror cabinet? Take a look, see.
Not really. Like someone you're
Yeah, me
dating.
neither.
Do you do that for someone you're dating?
I've definitely looked through under the sink.
Just to see what's in there?
Just taking a look.
Little
What do you got?
tampons?
Yeah, let me see.
What's on there? Yeah. Did you
Right.
find anything interesting?
Never.
Huh.
I don't think no. I've looked in the bathroom. What's going on?
Also,
in here?
I'm like, well, what are you looking for?
Nothing. It's.
Gotcha.
I'm looking for their bong.
Why do you have wax strips? Let me
Right.
see that chin.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. I've looked through. I probably open every cabinet I come across. I'm just.
Pimple patches? Let me see. All right, let's do
another
your
email.
Hi, J&J. Love the podcast. Longtime listener and benefit subscriber. I, female 29, have been dating my boyfriend, male 28, for about 4 months, and we moved relatively quickly. I'm the first girl he's ever really dated. He has gone on dates and hooked up with girls, but it never went anywhere. He's wonderful and thoughtful and kind, but also just obtuse. And I find myself having basic conversations about basic relationship behavior, conversations I was having when I was 20. It's just because he truly doesn't think about it. Things like when we make dinner and he only grabs one fork for himself instead of two. uses his phone at the dinner table on a romantic night out, telling me things his mom said about me that weren't for my ears. For example, I have too much cleavage in my Instagram photos.
Send a handle, baby girl.
Oh my God. I want him to be more assertive, confident, and considerate and take care of things without being asked. He is super open to feedback, but keeps doing new immature things and is very passive.
I love the idea that she covers up one hole and then water comes out of another. Yeah.
At what point is this wanting / encouraging him to grow up and wanting him to change? Or is it the same thing and I am in the wrong? I'm afraid of turning into his naggy mom. Side note that I don't know if it's important, but he grew up extremely sheltered and wealthy where he didn't have to do a lot of stuff for himself. Any insight you have in this or have another episode that addresses this that I missed would be so appreciated. I don't want to be an Aggie bitch.
What do you think of this?
Like, what is this a dilemma you're saying? I think this is a guy who hasn't been in a relationship.
Right.
Who's used to doing things on his own. I could see you do a lot of people dating you at 39 thinking, I got to train him.
Absolutely. I see eye to eye with this guy.
Yeah.
More than her.
Nothing that he's done seems, I could see being turned off by some of this stuff, but I don't think any of it's like so crazy.
Right. And I also don't think it's so crazy to be like, hey, where the fuck is my fork? You just go up and get one for yourself.
Right.
And then maybe the next time he's better, but if he's never better, because she says he does fix it.
Yeah.
Like it seems like someone who's just like, oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think, I kind of like, I've been this guy before.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, when I didn't like when it became personal.
Okay.
You know, I'd be like, yeah, I guess that's new for me. You know, like.
Well, how would you want to be told about these kinds of
I think
things?
I guess it would be like
You
the
only
idea
brought
of like,
one fork to the table.
right. I would need to go, oh yeah, that is rude of me. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that is like,
Right.
it would be weird if he was like, get your own fork, bitch. Like.
Right. It's about the
Right,
response and also the way that you speak to each other. I
Right.
think.
And I think.
Yeah,
If I'm
I've done some of this stuff.
Right, like, and we all have our moments, and like, what I don't like, and she writes it in her email a little bit, and like, I think when you make someone who, because to me this is like very golden retriever boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it's become called on the internet. Like, he's happy-go-lucky. He doesn't really, none of it's that deep.
Right.
He doesn't not bring you a fork so that you'll lose a little weight. Do you know what I mean, though?
Right, yeah.
Like, all of this is like when she mentions, like, you know, saying stuff that I shouldn't hear from my mom. Like, to me, it's like when I hear this from him,
Have a little tact there.
a little tag, again, a mistake made. But it sounds, when I put them all together, that on its own, I'm like, dude, you idiot.
Right.
But all together, it sounds like a guy who's like treating you like his good friend. You know, all these women want, I'm looking for my best friend. And then he treats
Got
you.
it.
You're getting this best friend treatment, and at its most positive.
Right.
I'm being very empathetic to him because I see a lot of myself in him. So like, I have been in relationships where someone will tell me how horrible something I did was, and I'll be like, now that I see it from that perspective, pretty horrible.
Right.
Should have done it differently. Wish I had.
Yeah.
No for next time. I think that's okay. Like, I never liked when it was made into this deeper thing that was kind of used to gain moral high ground on me, which is what she's doing. Side note.
I found this animal.
Well, side note, I don't know if this is important, but he grew up extremely sheltered and wealthy, where he didn't have to do a lot of stuff for himself. That's where I would get annoyed. I grew up sheltered and wealthy.
As a sheltered, wealthy person.
Right, I'm offended.
Right.
Well, I would go,
can
listen.
I can see being a little annoyed, though.
Sure, but
Right.
when you make it about that, now it's like that's my whole, like, the theme of Jared. That's my brand.
Right. It's not fair.
Sheltered, it's not fair.
I've done this too, so I can relate to why she's doing it. Because you're as a woman or as a person, you're trying to like why does he do this? If it's not, it kind of helps her, makes her feel better because she's like, if it's not personal, why is he doing it? It's
Right.
not like he's trying to be this thing. And I've done that with Mike, with stuff he's done. Like, well, this is why he acts like that. It's because he grew up like this.
Right. I think it makes it something that he never meant as personal to be personal.
But I'm saying, I think it makes it less personal though by
but
saying,
now you're making it personal to him.
Yeah.
You know, like,
we're
put that shit on him.
psychoanalyzing
Why?
them.
Right?
Yeah.
Why he can't go back and change his
I think
childhood.
you should own it though.
Well, I think the idea of like, How about he just forgot? And didn't know to do that, and
That
now
feels more
and now
personal.
he's better.
Yeah. That feels more personal. I don't know.
Really?
He just forgot because it's like, oh, you didn't think of
To
me at
bring
all.
you a fork? Oh, you didn't bring
Whereas-
that fork because
whereas-
you rich fuck. And also no one does this for poor people.
No, but this.
He grew up, no one's like, oh, they grew up poor and unsheltered, so they don't
No.
know how to act in public. No one does that.
No, we love that. Like, I mean, do you remember when we had Emma Willman on and she was talking about the loading the dishwasher argument, and we were like, and she's like, what's the best thing you could say if your girlfriend was mad at you for not loading the dishwasher right? It would be like, I'm sorry, when I grew up, there was a lack of dishwashers, and so I never learned how to load it correctly or something like that's like so hot to us. Like, oh
Right.
my God, he's being in touch with his feelings, and he is
Right.
like that. We do like that as it makes it less personal, and it makes us it almost makes us feel bad for you, which is better than anger.
Pity.
I think pity is better than anger in a relationship.
I don't think it's a great way to be looked at by your partner.
No, I think it would be
Look at this
like
pitiful loser,
No,
doesn't
I think
even
it
know how to
explains
put
a lot,
the-
and that means they can be worked on because they're self-aware.
Well, you could be worked on too if you go, yeah, I've never really brought forks to the table. The maid used to do it. I think that's okay without you saying, you rich fuck. Like,
Say it about yourself. I won't need to say it.
right, well, I don't know. It just,
I do this
think
to Mike all the time.
This, yeah. This to me, I'm like, I've been accused of like this deeper. I understand the idea, and it would annoy me. I'm speaking for
Right.
the idea that like this not deep thing to me was somehow the most horrific thing I could ever do to someone because of my Batman origin story. And it's like, I don't know.
I think if you get ahead of it with that makes it so like we love that. It'll make us so much less
he doesn't
annoyed.
even know though. Like this guy's like bringing one fork
That's
to the
why we have
table.
to tell you
They
what
gotta
your
tell
issue
you how
is.
horrific your
childhood was.
childhood
Yeah.
was. Like I don't know. It's like
It's not even horrific. I'll be like, do you know what I mean? Like I've done that with Mike with random stuff where I'm like, oh, like in the especially more in the beginning of dating, where it's like, oh, you went to the grocery store while I was away. Did you think to ask me what I wanted, or did you just buy snacks for yourself?
right.
And then I'm like, is it because your
He's
mom
like,
was?
what? You don't like Gushers?
I was like, I got these gushers.
You don't like
because of
Mountain
us.
Dew and Gushers? I got them for all of us. To me, that's a nice guy.
Right, no, but that-
I guess you don't like
That's what
Gushers.
I'm saying,
I
but
know for next time.
But I'm saying to me, I get a lot more angry if I'm like, he's so inconsiderate, he's so thoughtful, he only gives a shit about himself, he doesn't give a shit about me, he doesn't care about me at all, he's never gonna care about me, he's only thinking about himself. Whereas,
Yeah.
if I go to the place that she went, where I'm like, all right, Mike's mom was a stay-at-home mom when he was
Right.
growing up, so she, like he wasn't thinking that was taken care of by the woman in the family. So
Right.
now it's not about me. It's about, you know what I mean?
he
Then
just
I'm
can't
like,
do that back to
I'm
you.
psychoanalyzing him.
Right, but like...
I do it to myself before anyone
Right,
has a
well,
chance to.
that's why you got to be in therapy. That's not his problem. That's
why I am in therapy.
Like, but it just never goes the other way. It's not a fair fight to me. Like, to me, like...
That's what I'm saying. But if he did it to himself, that would be like the hottest thing I've ever
Right.
said. Or if he's like, I'm so sorry I didn't get you. Like,
But what if they
growing
went to-
up, I just never had to get snacks for anyone but myself, and so that's why it has absolutely nothing to do with you. Like, you're right.
Right.
Blah blah blah. Like, to me, that's the best.
I
thing
hear
you
you
could
why it's
possibly do.
good. I just, to me, it's not life isn't fair. I'm not, but if they went to a nice restaurant and she used the wrong fork for salad and he was like, she grew up in horrific circumstances. She doesn't know what fork to use on this day. No,
Right.
she was in the slums. No, doesn't.
That
She
would
knows
happen to
nothing of
me.
fork.
I
Growing
don't know.
up, they
I
had-
don't use
they
the
use
right
their
forks.
hands.
Yes. she's from a chaotic foster home,
her
practically.
family was absolutely gross. Yeah, no, she has nothing.
No, but if I said that, that would be great. That would be fine.
Yeah, if you started eating the towel that was meant to be used to wipe your hands before.
To me, I like to get ahead of things, If
Right.
like, and then it's somewhat, to me, it's like any behavior is fine as long as it's not like an elephant in the room. Someone just has to call out their own selfish, horrible behavior.
Well, what if they don't call it out themselves because he doesn't realize he didn't bring the fork for her? But if she was like, hey, could you please bring me the fork too? How could you only think of yourself? And he was like, oh, you make a great point. Let me run back there and get that fork for you. And she's like, you're not used to that because you had maids, you rich fuck. Like, can't he just be
What?
like...
You're giving her tone of like,
You're right.
like
I'm just saying,
accusatory.
this is my warning.
Right.
Sometimes I read into the emails
Fair.
because this is
All
what
right. I like
she
this one.
wrote it for.
Different takes.
Yes,
Yes.
different takes. But she wrote it, so that means she's like, side note, and by the way, here's who he is as a person. Does that, it's like, okay.
We do that.
Right.
I do that. I've done that. I've analyzed every single person I've dated and why they act the way they do.
Absolutely.
I go into
we
their
all do
family
that.
backgrounds. This
It's
is
when
why
you
you're
use
a
it against them
selfish
as a
piece of shit. What?
Right. I mean, those are the, like, I mean, those are fights that, like, would sting.
To me, it humanizes the person. It's not supposed to sting. It's more like, let me understand let me understand you.
I guess it
Let
depends.
me understand what your motives are, or your lack of motives, or the reason you did what you did.
When someone writes, side note, don't know if this is important, but the mansion they grew up in is the biggest I've ever seen, and this kid didn't do a thing growing up.
I don't think it's the same thing.
I think it's a similar. I think you're hinting at the idea that, like, I could use this as the brand of them. Like, this is who they are.
I don't think she's doing it in that way. I think she's doing it like, maybe this is why he's doing that. So, like, maybe having that context, it makes it more understandable why he's acted this way.
Sure. And I would say it is more understandable.
Yeah.
But it's also like all the things she's saying, like,
I mean,
the idea that she's naggy, I none of them that she's presented.
What do you mean?
Like, she's wondering, I don't want to be naggy. If someone said to me, hey, you fucked up, where the fuck is my fork?
Right.
That's not naggy.
No, I agree.
To me, I would be more nagged at if it was, hey, this is what you do because you grew. It's out of your control.
Right. But that's why I'm saying, like, if he got ahead of it with that stuff, of like, or if he's like she said, he's never had a relationship before. That to me is an important piece of the context.
Right.
If when he does that, he says, I'm sorry, I've been single for so long, just getting one fork.
Well,
I would be, that's what I'm saying. To me, it makes it just like, it deflates the situation.
Sure,
It's like,
but
I'm giving you a reason behind my actions that have nothing to do with you. It's not that I don't care about you, or I'm just looking out for number one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
let's say he brings back one fork and she's like, this is Mr. Single Guy. This is what you
that's
do.
weird. Yeah, that's not good.
Right,
That's not good. Yeah. Right. I would agree with that. But I don't. She didn't
we
say
agree more than we disagree.
She didn't
but
say she's doing that though.
I don't know. It's a warning. This is a fair warning from his perspective.
Right. And also, I don't know how the fact that he grew up rich has to do with his mom saying you have too much cleavage.
I
This
think
will
he's
not fly at the country club.
This is. You will not wear that to the horse race this summer. I think that to me is more on the point of, like, he's treating her like a friend, which he might not understand. There's a fine line between this is your lover and friend.
Right.
I think he's fucked up.
I think if she wants to have an overarching conversation with him, I think the overarching conversation is, I want to feel taken care of by you.
Right.
And these are the ways that I feel would show that you care about me.
Right. It's
thinking of me in these little moments.
It's a turn off when you don't think of me in those moments.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Right.
Yeah. Or it's a turn, and especially, like, again, to reward good behavior, like a dog. You would, if he does do
Right.
something like that. I think most people respond much better to positive reinforcement than negative reinforcement.
Well, and also the idea that that's a turn on. Most guys wouldn't think of that. Bringing her
that's
the
what I'm saying.
fork,
It's so
if she was
hot
like, it's
when you
kind
bring me a
of
fork.
right. Like, he's only thinking of, like, boobs and sex and cleavage.
Yeah.
If she said it that way, you go, oh, new switch activated.
Yeah, I think I've talked about it on the show. Like, the book my therapist told me to get in the beginning of dating Mike. It's called "Don't Shoot the Dog," and it's about that concept of, like, you just people respond better to positive things.
Right.
So, like, instead of yelling at someone because they didn't bring you the fork, praise them when they do, and, like, people they're more motivated that way.
Totally. Let's play some games. You ready?
Let's do it.
UUP@betches.com. Keep sending your red flag or deal breakers. These are some good ones.
Great ones.
Hi, team. Love you both. I went to a friend's birthday party today, and as some of us were saying goodbye, two of my gay male friends, I am a straight female, gave me a very quick peck on the lips goodbye. I thought nothing of it, as I feel like this is normal, right? Welp, I learned that my boyfriend does not think this is normal at all. In fact, he got pissed and yelled at me in the car about it on the way home. Since we got home, he still can't seem to get over it after us talking about it. I told him I totally get it, that seeing your partner kiss anyone else does not feel good. And I'm sorry, and I will absolutely not let my gay friends, or anyone else for that matter, kiss me going forward. I reassured him that I appreciate him communicating his boundaries and what he's uncomfortable with, especially when that's not a fun thing to have to do. I'd like to get both of your thoughts on this. I appreciate that you told me your boundaries. Now let me see what these other people think about it.
Yeah.
I think he's completely valid in his feelings, but I also don't think I did anything wrong. Sincerely, did I cheat on my boyfriend in front of him, or is he slightly homophobic? JK, I don't think either of those things are true.
I don't think it has to do with him being homophobic.
I don't know.
I don't see that connection
No.
there to that. My thought is like, it's okay that he felt a little weird about it, didn't like it. It's not okay that he yelled at you in the car on the way home.
No girlfriend of mine will be making out with their gay friends.
Right. Like,
And if you're gonna make out, you're gonna make out with everybody.
yeah, like to me, that's the most alarming part. Like, I think I was talking to Mike when I read this one, I was next to Mike and we were talking
Right.
about it. I was like, if he had a friend who was like a lesbian, and she kissed him before we left, I think when we got in the car, I'd be like, that was kind of weird that she kissed
On the
you
lips.
on the lips in the car. Like, that was kind of weird. Like, do you think did you feel that was weird? Does that happen all the time?
What did he think of that?
He was like, if he saw it, I asked him what he would say. He would be like, I would think it was very weird. I think I would almost forget about it. I don't think I'd be like mad, but I would think it was weird. And like, it would be better if you mentioned that it was weird. Which it is a little weird.
Well,
I would feel it was weird if he had a gay friend who kissed him on the lips before we left a party. I would think it was weird.
It's kind of like, I think this is like person dependent.
Would you?
like-
What would you think?
Honestly, there are some women that I would think, I never thought of it as me kissing my lesbian friend on the lips.
Right.
I would never do that. I'm not that type of person. I don't have that type of relationship with anyone. You, I'm sure, have gay friends, but you're not that type of person that would kiss them on the lips.
I don't really kiss friends
it would
on
be
the
weird
lips.
of you.
Right.
If I was dating like a Carrie Bradshaw type,
Does Carrie do that?
she had
Maybe it's
Mario
Samantha.
Cantone, Samantha. If I'm
Sure.
dating Samantha, I wouldn't think of
That
it.
checks.
The
Yeah.
checks. It kind of tracks with the personality. She's got these flamboyant. If the friends are flamboyant, and she's got this bright, flamboyant attitude too. If she's, I think it's a person dependent thing, and I actually think it's weird of the boyfriend to get mad at if this is the
Well, that's what I'm
relationship
saying,
she
mad.
had.
I think mad is like the wrong reaction.
Right. I guess I would. I think being mad, shocked. If I was dating someone who's like not who I would think would do that,
I would mention it.
I would go.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Do you
not
kiss
mention
on the lips
it.
every time? And also, it's not like they Frenched in front of them. Like I think he's getting mad is crazy. Sometimes questions are, like questions always better than anger. Anger's loss of control.
Right.
I don't
That's
understand
what
how
I'm
he
saying.
got
Why
mad.
he's angry?
Why I don't
Is
understand.
he threatened by their relationship? Does he not want to have a girlfriend who does that? Maybe.
Right. I guess if I was to like put down the list of options of how my girlfriend says goodbye to her gay friends, and one of them was a peck on the lips, I would go, oh yeah, that's one of the options. Like it wouldn't.
Would you mention it
She'd have to be a Samantha
for you to not mention it?
for me to not mention it.
Right.
Because I would
And
mention
again,
it.
you could mention it and not be upset about it. You could mention it and be like, it's interesting.
see
you
that coming.
You kissed what's his name goodbye at the bar. I didn't know that was what you guys did.
Like if he was like a very like I guess I don't mean to offend, if he was like a masculine
Right.
gay man and she was this like dowdy Midwest chick and then they kissed goodbye on the lips, I'd be like, where did this come from?
Right. I think it's okay to approach it with like, let's circle back to that kiss. That was
Right.
like,
Is that how you guys always say goodbye? I would have more questions, but the way I agree. The way he reacted,
Right.
anger shocked me.
Yeah. I don't think I would I'm trying to think, like if Mike kissed his lesbian friend every time we left the party,
Right.
kissed his lesbian friend on the lips, I don't think I would enjoy that. I don't think I'd be like so angry, but I don't think I would like. I think it would
I
be
would.
weird.
It would have to fit the
and again,
personality.
it wouldn't fit. It wouldn't
doesn't.
fit his character.
That's
I
why
think.
the person specific to me is like more the reason it would shock me. It wouldn't shock me. There are people this wouldn't shock me for. Is my
Right.
point.
Yeah.
You know, where I go, oh, that made sense totally.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also people who would shock me.
Right.
So it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I-
All behavior is sort of relative.
Yeah, I think you're right though. The anger,
Is the weird part.
even if it was someone outside of the range, the idea that I'd be angry at it
yeah.
is so far from how I would feel.
I had a good example of this on a more micro level. Mike has a female friend who's
Mhm.
straight, who I wanted to set someone up with, and he texted her to do that, and she They don't talk very often.
Mm-hmm.
She responded, and she said like, "Sorry, babe, I was at a dinner," and I was like, and I said, "Babe,"
Right.
like,
this is a very similar
and
thing.
I said like, "That's weird." Like,
right.
to text a married guy and call him babe, like that's
Right.
that seems strange to me. And he was like, no, that's just like that's who she is. That's just like kind of her, like that's her thing.
Right.
It's nothing to do with me. That's like she calls everyone that, whatever.
Right.
Blah blah blah. Which again, I wasn't like angry, but I was like, that's weird.
Did they go out with the person?
No.
No.
Oh, did they go out with the person? Yes, they did.
I don't think she's the red flag in this scenario. I think she needs to be aware that he's gotten angry about something that I can't understand someone would get angry about.
Right. But I can understand. I think it's okay that she's like, I can't understand
Oh.
why someone would think that was weird.
Especially if it's in her personality type,
Right.
where she's the type. And again, as societal types go, like, not to say that someone who's of a certain type couldn't be kissing their gay friend goodbye, but I'd be surprised by it.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
Let's do
All right,
another.
Let's move on.
J&J, longtime listener, huge fan of the pod. I recently got my boyfriend hooked, so he'll know this is about him when you read it. Oh, this is a fun one. My boyfriend and I have been dating for over a year and have traveled via plane together twice. This past weekend, we were boarding the plane heading to 38F, steerage, as I call it, or whatever seats in the back of the plane. And he put his suitcase in the overhead bin in row 8. I told him not to do that, and he said he likes to because it makes deboarding the plane easier.
For who?
Yeah.
Sorry.
There was plenty of overhead room in the back of the plane. So I feel like this is rude because it could be taking up space for people who paid more for their better seats. So red flag or deal breaker, they put their suitcase in the front of the plane when they're sitting in the back. I'm too deep in this relationship for it to be anything but a red flag, but curious to hear your thoughts. Best traveling betch. End this.
It's atrocious.
End this. This is
Listen, I've done some not flattering plane behavior. I try to board a group before I'm supposed to. Different.
Different.
I think this is different because doesn't really affect anyone else.
Totally different. Well, you are affecting other people because you're
Kind of
hypothetically taking the overhead space that
I'm saying
someone
in this
else would get.
I'm saying in this person's case, it is affecting people.
I'm
Yes.
saying yours affects people too. Cutting the boarding line. I mean,
Are you gonna?
I'm gonna rat you out.
Fast-
I'll be.
Tell me how you feel about
I'll
it.
be calling Delta right away.
One group early.
You
I'm on basically the tail end
to
of the
me,
last group.
When you board a group early, at least you're ready, vigilant, ready to go. You're gonna hop on that plane.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I think that's okay. That is a ready.
You can tell me if you think I'm an asshole.
I don't think you're an asshole. I think you're doing wrong.
Okay.
I think you're a ready traveler, though.
You say that because you are always the first person to board.
That's right. I would elbow you out of the way to make sure that I went first, and I would call out your ticket, Miss.
You would tell them. You would know what you would tell them.
No, I have done what you're doing.
Okay.
Because I've done it, I'm gonna empathize with it. I think boarding ahead of your zone, fine. Just be ready and let's move.
That's why I'm always ready.
Right, and you're not really hampering the flight itself. What this guy's doing is actually hurting the flight as a whole. He is making it all go slower because there's someone who's in. It's not that they paid more. It's that they're now to deboard the plane. This hypothetical person might have to put theirs farther back
Right.
and go back to
That's
go
the issue.
forward. So now you're making everyone have an issue on the plane, not just the person who has to go back. But when we deplane, everyone behind them has to wait and, wait, because I'm going backwards or I have to go forwards. And especially if there's room above your head.
Yeah.
It's if the scenario is different and he saw that all the overhead was full down by his seat and saw a spot in first class to put it in, get it in there, buddy.
Right.
Do it.
If all the seats are right, if all the things are taken,
if they're
that's
all
what they
taken,
tell you to do.
They go, just
Right.
take one.
Yeah,
Take one.
right.
That's a different thing.
To put it in the front and then the other person has to put it in the back, then they have to wait for everyone else to come off. That's the worst thing.
He's
you could
the
possibly
problem
do.
with the country right now. He's a problem. He should be arrested. He should be on the no-fly list. You should end this relationship.
She's not going to end it.
I'm
She's
happy
too
he's a
deep.
listener.
She's too deep.
Yeah, I
Yeah, don't
fear
do that.
for her children. Like, what's he teaching
It's not
people?
easier for anyone but him, and it's also not even that much easier than him for him.
It's fine. I don't mind making something easier for you, but don't do it at the detriment of the whole plane.
Yeah,
He's a terrorist.
get rid of him. Hi, J&J and Candace, Feather from Australia. So I met this guy on
G'day,
Hinge.
mate.
I met this guy on Hinge. We have been on 3 really good dates. Our first date, we realized we have a mutual friend, an old roommate of mine who he used to work with.
Oh, that's fun.
On our 3rd date, we hooked up, and I noticed that he kept on doing something I found odd. About half a dozen times during the hookup, he would put my hand to his mouth and suck on my fingers one by one from thumb to pinky.
Okay.
All 5.
All 5.
I've never had this happen before. I've had the opposite.
Gonna go around the horn.
Finger looking good. I've had the opposite where I've sucked on a guy's fingers, but found the 5-finger and roll reversal a bit odd. Thinking it was amusing, I sent our mutual friend a message about it. Like she's discreet.
Kiss and tell.
What I received in response stunned me. It was a voice note from our mutual friends stating that he had been hesitant to tell me about this guy I'm seeing, but this guy I'm seeing had drunk his coworker's breast milk willingly.
Okay.
Must
I don't know what
have-
one has to do with the other.
Right. I don't see how that has to do with that.
Right.
He likes sucking.
I guess.
He's a son. Did he suck it
Did
from
for
her
a
breast?
tit? Yeah.
Maybe. Must only be a red flag for me because we ended up dating for 6 months before I moved away. But my question to you is red flag or deal breaker? Do you find out he has drunk his coworker's breast milk? Breast intentions. I'd need to know
Good
more
sign off.
context.
Yeah, I don't think it's a deal breaker for me. Like, I think those two are independent. I guess the idea that they'll do anything, that they're a little bit.
You'd think it was hot, I feel like.
I would think it was hot.
yeah.
I actually think, yeah, if she's sucking on my fingers 1 through 5,
What if she wants you to suck on her fingers?
whatever she wants.
Whatever she wants, she'll do any sucking.
Right, I'll suck on her fingers, suck on her toes. Who cares?
Okay.
But the idea that, and he drinks breast milk. This is kind of what happens when someone gets canceled. Our friend Fred Savage.
She knows a lot about this.
Not our friend.
Not
Not
our
our
friend.
friend. Our not friend Fred Savage. But I'm saying when someone gets canceled, like
There's a pile-on, yeah.
there's a pile on.
Yeah.
So it's like, and when something comes out about a person, oh, it was weird. He sucked on all my fingers.
Now that I
and
think
he
of
drinks
it-
breast milk, and he wanted to, and he went goo goo gaga like a baby. Like it always gets a little.
Right. I need the full story. There's a scenario in which this isn't that weird, the breast milk thing.
Right,
And I don't think the
I'm
finger
with
thing
you.
is that weird.
How do you get your hands on it? Like, how did this happen at the office?
Right. That's what I'm saying. There's
Right.
clearly some more context to the story that might make it more normal.
She's like, oh, I tried. If she was literally like putting it on her like arm to see if it was
Right.
cold or not or hot, and licked it, and someone was like, you licked the breast milk, and she's like, you got to make sure it's the right temperature. Here, have some. And then he was like, yeah,
All
give
right,
it.
yeah, that
That's a
doesn't
different-
seem that weird.
It'd be, yeah,
That's what I'm
it's
saying.
weird
I agree
thing
with
that
the
happened at
pile-on.
work, but
you have to think if someone were going to cancel you, what are the things they would pile on?
oh my god,
She cuts the plate. She doesn't give a shit about anyone. She cuts the plane line. She tries to board early.
right? Of the all.
She thinks
the-
tuna on a plane is fine.
Ugh. End it. No fly list. Yeah, there's a million things that. Oh, he was a dick to me.
Right.
When he did my podcast, he was. You don't
Yeah, you
know.
could find anything.
Anything. So
But yeah, I would say not a big deal.
not a big deal.
Yeah.
We solved it.
If he drinks exclusively
Right.
coworkers' breast milk, maybe
Yeah, I buy it online. It's good for your skin.
stealing it from babies that need it. All right.
We
well,
solved dating
We
again.
did it. Proud of us. We'll be back on Sunday.
Boom.
Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candice Maniga. Editing by Belle Roman. Social media by Candice Maniga. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.